is not gonna be good. Oh, this is not gonna be good. This is about the day that my mom died, man. It's funny. My past self, 5 years ago, set a trap for me that I knew eventually one day I would end up finding this, and once I find it, I fucking knew it. I knew it, man. You know, I don't know. Like, let me know down in the comments if you guys ever do this. But like, do you ever fuck with like your the versions of yourself? Like, do you ever fuck your future version of yourself because you feel like your future future version of you deserves to pay for something? You know, like, do you ever punish your future self, or do you ever reward your future self, like hide money and then forget about it? You know, leave it in a jacket pocket or coat in the closet, and you know, something. Um, this one's unfortunate. This one is definitely deep. So it's emotional, man. Like I said, it's about my mom dying, and if you don't wanna hear it, then you know, I guess this is not the video for you. But I don't know. Maybe you might learn something, because there's definitely something to learn. There's definitely a metaphor, and there's definitely a lesson to hear in this story. And it's not even a story. I don't know. I guess you can call real life events stories. I mean, they're things that happened, and you're retelling them. So. Oh my god. I'm trying to check a beer. The carbonation. The carbonation. I'm avoiding the concept. Oh man, this is gonna be fucking fun. So, I originally began writing it. I prefaced it, you know, saying like this is mainly a document for myself, so I have it saved somewhere for other than my computer. Disregard if you must. Whenever I put anything like that, that's mainly, you know, so I make sure I notice it in the future. Documents for myself. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen a show called Fear the Walking Dead, but I'm just gonna start reciting pretty much word for word, I guess, this passage. I might elaborate a little bit, but again, it's deep, and it's about my mom, and so I guess here we begin. So last night I watched Fear the Walking Dead, and this one dude died, and it made me cry seeing how he died, so abrupt and helpless, trying to speak but unable, not able to say his last words. That made me think of my mom and how she died. I remembered, like, what was I doing that morning? You know, like, I was on the computer smoking before class at noon, and my dad entered my room and said my mom was in the hospital and it's not good. And I remembered knowing that I instantly knew that this was it. Like, this was the end. I vividly remember the instant of, like, fear, okay? Fuck. Okay, God damn it. Yeah, sorry. Okay, like, fuck. So, I'm gonna do this bong, you know, maybe another or a few, you know, once I leave this house and travel to see her, like, shit, this becomes real. This is when it happens. It's happening now. Like, you know, once I leave this house and travel to see her, it's happening. It's really happening. It's happening now. And I just wanted to run and get in the car and see her. But I knew that then things would have become so much more real, so much sooner. And I was so apprehensive, and I didn't want to fucking see her yet, man. I'm probably gonna cry during this video, during this podcast, audio cast, man. But, you know, fuck. There's other people who've gone through so much worse. So, like, fuck. Like, this shit happens to people, and it's okay. So, So continuing, I remembered some shit I repressed and should have not remembered it all because things weren't as bad memory and emotion wise before, but this, like, I remembered my mom actually, she had cancer for 5 years, I think, like 4 or 5 years, and I would always like until that day, I would remember just having so much hatred towards her, and I wouldn't speak to her, and there was a huge like for a 5 year period where she has cancer, then dies, then boom, quickly just gone. But like, nah, she had cancer twice. She had it twice. She had it and she went bald. She looked as thin as an anorexic model and weak and pale. And like I remembered, like I didn't hate her at that point. I was afraid of her. Like of seeing my bald mom. Of seeing my bald mom, you know, dying. Like knowing she has cancer. Like this lively, wondrous Wonder Woman in a wheelchair, as brittle as some hay straw. The end was legit coming, and I was just so scared, and I legit made myself forget about it. I avoided phone calls and visits and pictures, and I avoided taking videos. I avoided messages even from Facebook. I literally blocked her on Facebook because I was so scared to see my mom die, man. And I denied her every single free lunch visit just because she wants to see her son. Like, I denied her every movie visit and every dinner date or brunch or beach visit, every scary doctor visit, every painful chemo treatment, every time she wasn't doing any of it, just relaxing and just wanted to see me. I still avoided it because she had no hair. She had a wig, and I couldn't handle it. So I told myself, this isn't happening. And to my surprise, my mom went into remission. And she actually lost the cancer. Like, fucking crazy, right? But, like, everyone was so happy. It felt so awkward. And I just felt so ashamed of my neglect during such an ineffable time in her life. And first there was fear, and then there was shame. So the shame, I still neglected to see and speak to her. And once she regained some of her hair, she got a buzz cut. She was cancer free. She was in remission, and then she became cancer free. It was gone. She was gaining weight, lively, and had color in her skin, and she was doing great. I eventually allowed my sister to convince me, like, for all of us to go out to Steak and Shake and just have a dinner together. And that was the only time, like, I really spent time with her and saw her. Aside from one other time where we went to her house and I had to eat pizza. And it was really awkward in front of my fucking dumb piece of shit fucking stepdad. Charles Black, go fuck yourself. I hope you die, and I hope somebody fucking reports a smell coming from your house, and it's because your body has just been rotting because nobody's found you. You deserve to fucking die. Go fuck you, Charles Black. But aside from that, I had no reason. I didn't hate my mom. There was no reason to be afraid. It was just the shame of my past choices and not realizing, like, she's my fucking mom. Like, I'm allowed to talk to her about how I feel. And I didn't get it back. I didn't get it back then. And I didn't just let it slide. And so, yeah, like, so then that day before college, I woke up and it happened, and it was too late. I went up to one lunch, and that lunch is where we took the picture that was actually used in her obituary, the lunch that we had at Steak and Shake. And it was also used in, like, this printout of, like, her death poem card thing. And, like, I never got to tell my mom that I was 6 credits away from having 2 degrees. I never got to tell her that I'm starting a business or that I had a girlfriend and lost a girlfriend. I never got to show her my new dog. I never got to show her how bad of a time I'm having, how much of a worse time I'm having in all my amazing times. I never got to tell her I got too drunk and then I cried asking for her help one time, forgetting that she was gone. I never got to ask her how she played poker or solitaire and won. I nevered a lot. And the kicker is like the day that she died, seeing her jaundiced yellow skin with opposing eyes and seizure stricken limbs, peeing on herself half naked with alarms and buzzers going off in the ER room. As my sight. Get down, Shadow. That was my cat. And my first sight, once I get to the hospital, running to her room, not only killed my mental, but it killed my will and my belief in God, man. And life itself for me. Like, just all of it. I, I was so equally hesitant to enter the hospital, but knowing that I just need to fucking run and see her. And then I go and then I see her, and that's the image that I have. So, like, I end up fucking seeing that, and it's a really hard fucking thing to fucking, man, when I talk about it, like, I just remember it, and it's like a searing image in my brain, man. Like, her skin was just so yellow, man. It had spots all over it, and her eyes were fucking going in opposite ways. And, man, like, when I entered, all she could do, like, you could tell her body was like seizing up and fucking up, and there was no control, but she was reaching for me, and she kept asking for her baby boy, man. Like, all she wanted was her baby boy at that moment, man. And I was so fucking terrified. I fucking ran. And I just started, like, beating my fucking hand into the wall. And I was just like I just broke down, man. That shit fucking broke me. So she ends up recovering after trying so hard to just call me, trying so hard just to say I love you. Like, at that point, she might have thought she was dying, and she couldn't. You could tell she was trying to say I love you, and she couldn't. And like I said, I think it was just because of originally she had suffered from a major seizure, so her speech was fucked up. And again, it just broke my heart and my fucking innocence, man. Knowing that she was like dying that night destroyed everyone. But we still had time to say goodbye, and I planned on apologizing and telling her that I knew she loves me and things will be okay, and I'll work on myself and, like, come on to true acceptance. Like, I'm gonna use my final words as my final words. Like, I'm gonna fix everything that's been fucked up. I'm gonna undo everything that I knew I should have changed. I'm gonna tell her everything. I'm gonna be fucking honest. Like, my mom's gonna be my mom. And so some people go first, and then I'm next. But before my turn, my bitch ass faggot fucking stepdad feels like I feel like throwing up right now, man. Fucking even mentioning this, but he pulls me aside and tells me to act like she's not gonna die, and don't apologize for anything. Don't say goodbye. Don't say anything. Just act like, it's a doctor's visit. Just pretend that she's gonna be here. We don't need her experiencing any stress. And this was the moment where mother's son has lost his last moment to apologize for everything he's ever done to her. And just as he knows at the end, in the end of it all, even though, of course, I know she loves me and that I'm her son, but I still need to use the fact that I'm allowed to tell my mom in the final moments. I need to tell my dying mom these things that I need to tell her that I'm sorry, that I love her, and I'm so fucking sorry that I treated you this way while all this was happening. And I was never able to. I was never allowed to say sorry to my mom. I wasn't allowed to say goodbye. I wasn't even allowed to acknowledge the fact of the reality that she was dying. My last talk with my mom was a short 5 to 10 minute chat that you'd have with somebody in a fucking elevator, man. Yeah, like, how was your day? Oh, nice. How you doing? Oh, okay, so nice. Oh, okay, so what are the plans for tomorrow? Like, he literally told me not to acknowledge she was dying, but she knew. And, like, when my time was up, that was it. I had to leave. I had to give her a quick hug and a kiss and left. And that was, like, still sort of foggy. So I didn't understand some things that she said or told me. I don't even remember her last words to me. But, like, this fucking asshole, man, this shed step dick who denied me my final fucking goodbyes and acceptance of what's happening to her can go fuck himself. I don't, I don't think I could ever fucking get over the rage that I have towards my stepdad. And so, like, I was 20 or 21 or like 22. I don't know. I don't remember. It was 2023. I didn't realize back then you're allowed to respectfully oppose authority and insert your own ideas and resolutions, and I didn't know sometimes that it's best for yourself so much, much more than those who think they know what's best for you to do just what you think you need to do. And I didn't know I could have said anything, and I didn't, and I regret that so much. I mean, if there's any point where you defy authority, it's when somebody's dying, and you want to give them your last fucking words. But anyways, today, after thinking about her and how it was so sudden, I remembered I didn't have to hate her for 5 years. Like I said, I was afraid of her. And it trips me out because I always complain to my dad about how my sister has 5 extra years with my dad and mom, even though with them still married and she was still actually conscious and has memories of back then, and how huge of a difference and how it sucks that, like, I didn't get an extra 5 years with my parents because they were divorced. Like, my sister always, I always feel like my sister had 5 more years with my parents than I did. Well, she did. I mean, she existed for 5 more years than I did. I used to be so envious because, like, I just think, like, that would have given me 5 more years to stop being angry with her at how my own life was earlier on, and I would have realized, like, I do love you, mom. Like, I do want to hang out with you. Like, maybe those extra 5 years that I wish I had, that my sister has over me, the ones that I feel I deserved, that I should have, so I could have gotten over my anger towards her, towards my mom, and enjoyed her final last years alive. Like, I already had. The last 5 years, I was afraid. Were those 5 years I always wished for? Like, I don't know, but it was my anger. But I was just so shameful and embarrassed, and just as well as afraid of my actions during her hardest time, during the times when she seemed even closer to death than the second time. Like me, her son, was never there for her. I remember every time, my sister went out, she would always ask me, and I'm like, no. And again, I always thought that it was because of anger and the way that I was treated and the things that happened when I was younger. But no, she had cancer, man. My mom was dying. I was terrified of that, and I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to be around that. I don't want to go wig shopping with my mom. No, I don't want to go to chemo treatment and see them putting this stuff in there, in her veins. Like, I wasn't there for the lunches, man. I wasn't there for the chemo appointments. I never rode along just to ride. I never went to the dinners. I never hung out. I never just helped shop. I never visited, never called, never texted. And I literally blocked her on Facebook to avoid contact. I didn't want to talk to her. I literally blocked her. And when she died, she was blocked. Somebody ended up accessing her account and unblocked me. Thank fucking God. But, like, today, I remember all of this, all of this bullshit. And today, things got way worse for me than I thought it was. Because, like, now I fucking remember that it was my fault and my choices that led to where I am now. And there's literally nothing I can do but to just get over it and move on, to keep the memories. But it's just such a bitch when every memory is such a fucking piercing regret. Like, you feel me? Like, fuck, man. The amount of times I wish I could just call my mom and be like, Mom, man, you died. I fucking miss you. So, never, bro, tell to everybody that you fuck with, man, every now and then, just tell them you fucking love them, bro. Because you never know. You know, don't hold grudges. Don't fuck shit up, man. That's the best advice I could give. If you haven't, please subscribe. Less than 1% of the viewers that are watching subscribe, so please hit that button. Thanks. 48 Sharks. We're out.